Good evening, ladies and gents. How are we? Can people hear me okay? Let's do a quick sound check. Apologies for the slight delay this evening. We just got back from the in-laws. Wow, it looks like you guys have been having a great conversation while I've been out. I'll catch up with you guys in just a moment. Feel free to, as always, feel free to share the YouTube stream right now on your Facebook timelines, etc., etc. If you want to get people involved, share it in any of the Suzuki groups. By all means, please carry on. I'm just going to have a very quick look through the chat and see if anyone's asking anything in particular at the moment. And I will be right with you. It's been quite an exciting day. Traumatic in ways with the carbs. If you've been following on Facebook, you'll know that the carbs were jetted today. Couple of things we're going to go over with that. That's what we're going to talk about tonight predominantly, is jetting the carbs. So if you are in need of jetting advice or anything like that on how to do it, where to get the jets from, we will cover it. I feel like I'm really close to you guys tonight. Let me step back a little bit. I feel like I'm really close to the camera. Let's come back here. Not very bright either. There we go. So let's see who is in the chat tonight. Willows, good to have you here, my friend. Dave Deb, how's it going, my friend? Who else we got? We've got Disco, lovely to see you. Motorloon, Kieran, Axel, great to have you here, my friend. Jamie, how's it going? Devin, Conto, how is everybody doing this evening? Or probably afternoon where you are, right? Majority of you are on that side of the pond, so it's just coming up 8 o'clock here, 10 to 8 at the moment. So wow, Facebook's gone mad as well. There's loads of notifications. I've not really looked at my phone properly for the last couple of hours since I put up about the carbs and stuff. So let's just have a quick look. Yeah, loads of comments I'll go through later. No problem at all. So first things first, where are you watching from, ladies and gents? Where are you watching from, and how's your weekend been? Anyone get much riding done? Has the weather been okay? Good to know, Conto. Better camera than last time, Dave. Yeah, sorry about that. For those that didn't catch it, I tried to do a live stream while I was away this past week, last Sunday, off of the camera that's on my laptop, which you can't see, but what I look at. That didn't work. I watched it back, and oh my god, it was like cottage cheese. It was that bad. So I switched over to my phone, but the signal where we were in the depths of Cornwall, which is the very southwest part of the UK, we were in the middle of nowhere in a field in our camper van, and there was just no service, no reception, nothing like that. So it's been really hard to kind of keep up with you guys and respond to messages and comments and stuff. So I do apologize. I will get round to all of your comments and messages over the next couple of days now that I'm back in the workshop, back to normal, hopefully. Been really good to have a week off doing nothing, like kind of. It was kind of like a working week, if I'm being honest. We did a lot of drinking, sitting, lying down, bathing in the sun, and that was pretty much it. It was very, very well needed. The 3 days that I had last month, it wasn't enough. So, but I definitely feel better, feel rested. So, Devin says, my first time tuning in to the live stream. Well, welcome, Devin. I hope you enjoy it. We'll get to the bike-related stuff shortly. Conto says it's afternoon where he is. Willow says, obviously Oregon, I remember now. Willow's, so you've not been able to ride at the moment? That's a shame, man. JD, how's it going? He says, good content, keep it coming. Commenting from, I'm guessing, South Georgia or SS Georgia, maybe that's something else. We've chatted on the Intruder group. I'm sure I remember your name, actually, now that you're saying it. You need a profile picture on your YouTube, though, so I can tell who you are. Set it as the same one on Facebook so that I know who is coming over from Facebook and stuff like that. If I've missed anybody right now, I do apologise. There's loads of comments. Let's see who else. Conto says, Have completed the brake upgrade and wow, what a difference. Thank you for the link, Hagar, to obtain the information needed to do the install. It's amazing. Honestly, I can't, I mean, I did the video, right? I did the video showing you how to install it, but I've not actually installed it. I've not run it yet, but I do know how good it is. The bike, as you can see, is currently on the bench, and that's because the carbs have been taken off, and we've been doing the jetting stuff today. I will be doing a whole front end upgrade video from fork springs, brake, all the lines. Well, the lines have been done, but I'll explain a little bit more in detail as to which ones I've gone for. New headlight, that's obviously got to go on. We've got the fork covers as well. How it is right now is just temporary. There's so much stuff left to do on the front, which I will probably do in the winter when I'm not able to ride it quite as much. So loads still to come from the bike, but the carbs and jetting them, putting them in and then sinking them, it kind of marks the end of the rebuild process, the whole tear down rebuild process that I started nearly a year ago now. We're coming to the end of the first leg, so to speak, of information, and then from there on, we will probably focus more on upgrades and modifications. For example, the carb jetting, that's a modification, but I wanted to do it before I put the carbs in to sink, because otherwise I just have to take them back out again, put the jets in and then sink them again. So it was just like, I didn't want to have to do it twice. So I've done the jetting, which you will see very shortly in the video, and then I'll do the sinking video thereafter for you guys to see. So yeah, let's have a little look. Devin says he's from Fort Street, St John, my apologies, in the UK. St. means street. Fort St John, British Columbia, Canada. That's where he's tuning in from. Great to have you here, man. I hope you enjoy it. He says, need to get out and ride yet today. It must be pretty early for you. It's been horrendous weather here today. It's a real shame, because myself and a good friend of mine were hoping to catch at least an hour or two on the road, but where she was, she said it was raining. It was raining here, so we just didn't bother in the end. Not really worth it, in my opinion. Dave Deb says he's tuning in from Belgium. Absolutely great weekend. Engine dismantled and cleaned, just waiting on new gaskets. Also found out it wasn't the tensioner but the chain guide. Well, that's good news. In a kind of roundabout way, the chain guide is really easy to replace, and they're not exactly expensive. So that's kind of a sigh of relief, I imagine. Is that kind of good news for you? Let me know, man. David H. White says, hi there, it's David from South Africa in Johannesburg. Great to have you here, David. Disco, evening Hagar, tuning in from next door in Dorset. I know that you're pretty close, man. We're going to have to do a ride out at some point. You know, here in the UK, we'll have to arrange some sort of meet at some point. You know, COVID and all that stuff. Like, I was really hoping to get to you guys today in the States. I think it was today or next Monday. This Monday, yeah, one of them. I was hoping to get to you guys for this big meetup we were planning earlier in the year, but obviously due to the restrictions on flights and travel, it's just not going to happen. But the GoFundMe page thing is still running. I believe the gentleman who set that up hasn't taken it down. So if people still wanted to contribute to me flying over to meet you guys, somebody go and find it. I think it was on GoFundMe. I think it's called like Bring Hagar to the United States, I think. Very, very generous man, set it up months ago. I didn't ask him to. He wanted me to come over to the States, so he set it up. I think we're at like $250 to $300, I think, at the moment, which is incredible. So hopefully, you know, with that said, I'll be over soon. Axel says, Axel's from Germany. I know you are, my friend. Still waiting for my new electronic CBS box from Axel Juiced. Can't wait to upgrade the bike. Yeah, the electrics are going to happen in the winter, most certainly. A few of you have been asking if I'm going to be doing a full rewiring video. And I'm in two minds about it, because there's obviously two different demographics there. There's people that are not going to upgrade their electrics, but they need help sorting out their existing electrics. And then there's people that are going to be just throwing their existing loom effectively in the bin and buying a new box, such as the CBS box or the, I always forget the name of it, the blue thingy box. I always forget the name. Anyway, so I'm in two minds. It's a lot of work to do both, so I think maybe I'll put up a poll on the YouTube channel a little bit closer to the time and see what you guys would prefer, because like I said, to rebuild the wiring loom, while it would be a hell of an achievement to do and to document via video for you guys, it's going to take weeks, you know, to do that properly. We'll see though, we'll see how things go. If I've got more time in the winter, there's no reason I can't do both, so we shall see. Willow says, that's good, Dave. Conte says, have you thought of on your website having a page if it's possible for us to upload a picture of each of our bikes so we know what members have for rides? It was mentioned about I think it was Intruder Talk 10, maybe Intruder Talk 9. We've definitely discussed it. I've mentioned it. The functionality to do it is possible, and there is something happening very, very soon. When I spun the website out for you guys the very first time, those of you that have been following from the beginning will know that there will be a membership section, completely free. You won't have to pay anything, but you will have your own profile if you want to on the hagarmoto.com website. So it'll be like a forum, but not anything specific as such, but just Intruder owners who want to upload photos of their bikes, their modifications, tips and tricks, and we can all talk together in a slightly more formal way via the website. It is going to happen, it will happen, but the development behind it to support such a platform takes a little bit of time and takes some money as well. So that's why I've not rushed into it. I needed to make sure that myself and the YouTube channel and the website was going to become an actual thing in my life, which it clearly has. So we're now moving on to sort of the next phase of rolling out new bits and pieces on the website and on the YouTube channel, and you are going to see some small changes over the coming videos. So it's become part of my life now, so therefore I'm able to apply certain things to it that I wouldn't have at the beginning of the journey. So, but we're nearly 12 months in, and the community has grown massively here on YouTube. So it's only fair that you guys get what you're asking for. So we will have a full forum social media platform available on the website soon, where you can share as many photographs as you want. Willow says, most have same bike, just different years. You're not wrong, but I always like looking at different versions of the Intruder. One thing that I can never get my head around is the German approach, the typical German design approach towards these bikes is just beautiful. The way they manage to get the curves right and the stance right, and it blows me away every time I see, in particular, LMC or Intruder Team. It's just phenomenal. Or Thunderbike, that's another incredible company that works on Harleys and VS1400s and stuff. The stuff that's being produced on these bikes, that, you know, until I really started getting involved with the community, I'd never realized it existed. And if you guys have never looked up LMC bikes or LMC customs, highly recommend you go check that website out. We'll just put in LMC into Google after the live stream and you'll be blown away. Batman would be proud. Dave Deb says, meh, it's all good. I already ordered the tensioner, so now ordered a chain guide. That way it's all new. Never bad to change everything, I guess. Good, good. You've probably made the right choice by just getting it replaced. That's definitely the right way to go. Kieran, how's it going, my friend? He said, just sold my bike, mate. Gutted, however, have booked my A2 for December. Awesome. I did actually see on Facebook that you had your little cafe racer up for sale, mate. Did you get what you wanted for it? I hope so. For those of you that don't know what an A2 is a type, a level of motorcycle license here in the UK. So we have different levels. We have A2, A1 and A. A is completely unrestricted. A2, Kieran, you'll have to confirm for me, but that will allow you to ride up to a 600cc or 650cc. And the reason they have different tiers is for different age groups. So you can only ride an A2, I believe, once you're 19 here, I think, in the UK. And then like an A license, unrestricted, you have to be 24 years old. So they just, it's horrible the way they work the bike system here in the UK. So much money involved. Conto, awesome, you're doing a great job, Hagar. We all commend you. Thank you very much, Conto. I appreciate it. It's great to just be a part of the community. Honestly, it's very, very rewarding to have you guys here on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, just to talk bikes and just to talk intruders. You know, if you weren't here at the beginning of the journey, you'll know that I started the channel mainly because there was no information on YouTube in particular. There's a few videos, couple videos on YouTube about the VS1400, but I struggled when I was working on the bike to try and just go, I wonder if I could figure out very quickly how to do this. And there was nothing on YouTube. And I just wanted to change that. In fact, if you look at my bike reveal moto vlog video that I did, which was the first time I rode this bike after I bought it, which I think I uploaded maybe a year ago before I really got into YouTube, you'll hear me say near the end that I plan to change how much content there is on YouTube about the VS1400. And I think now, having taken in particular this past week to kind of step back and look at the way that I'm working, the workshop itself, the bike, I've definitely achieved that. So, and it's only because you guys have stuck around. There's been people to watch it, people to view it, people to learn from it. Clearly, we did something right by creating it. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Willow says, what stage would you recommend with a bigger torque cam? Honestly, I wouldn't. The stage, okay, so we're talking carbs, I'm assuming. So staging the carb would be determined primarily on the airflow and the restriction of airflow at any point within the bike. So if you've got pod filters on your carbs and you've got hollow straight pipes exhausts, you're going to want a stage 3, like I have, a stage 3 carb kit. I wouldn't be able to recommend a particular stage at all based on a different cam. That's probably something worth going and talking to the people that you're going to be buying the jet kit from, whether that's Sigma 6, whether that's Dynajet. Shoot them a message and ask them. I haven't done it, so I can't really comment on it. Yeah, that's how I'm going to leave that one there. Sorry I couldn't help a little bit more on that one, Willow. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. That's because that's a huge modification in itself to put a different cam on, a bigger cam. If we're thinking and talking about the same thing here, that's a pretty big difference. Are we talking about putting the VL1500 on top? Is that what you're working towards? Because that's a different cam, that's a bigger cam, obviously. If you're putting VL1500 heads on the 1400 cylinders, it's a different cam. So yeah, I would ask the jet people about that, wherever you're getting it from, see what they recommend. Kieran, yes I did mate, thought it was time that bike went, and anything up to 45 brake horsepower I believe. Yeah, so I think that will get you like a 600 GSXR, something like that. I'd have to check though, they keep changing the bloody laws. Axel says, LMC is definitely one of the best to tune the Intruder. A friend of mine is selling his LMC Intruder for 13,000 euros. Yep. Yep. Dave HY, oh, message retracted. What happened there? Did I do that? Sorry, Dave, if I don't think I pressed anything. Let me know. Send that message again, Dave. Axel, it's definitely expensive. Really it is. Willows, I don't know what, but my bike has a bigger cam. Are we talking heads? Are we head cams? Like cylinder cams, you know. If it's got a bigger cam than stock, then be interesting to know a bit more about that. Are we on about the cam itself or the sprocket on the end of the cam? Because that sprocket can be changed, different teeth, you know, different sizes, etc. Anyway, right. So, thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for sticking around. Let's talk a little bit about the carbs and the process that I've gone through today to jet the carbs, because a couple of people are getting confused. I put up a post on Facebook today, photograph of the carbs underneath the camera and everything, saying that the carbs have been jetted and drilled. Now, a few people have questioned me on that, going, drilled, question mark. Yes, jetting these carbs requires you, at least with this method that I'm going for, the stage 3, it requires you to effectively bore out the slide in the carb, the diaphragm slide, and you do that to allow. So I tell you what, let's start from the beginning. So we put bigger jets in. Let's see if I've got any spares here. So if you've never jetted a carb before, all it is taking out the original jets and putting in bigger or smaller than stock jets. And that's what they look like. Hope that focuses. This one right here is a 160 jet. The kit that I got came with 4 main jets, a load of instructions, a drill bit, 2 drill bits, because one of them is for drilling out the slide, the diaphragm slide, and the other one is for drilling out the caps that may or may not be covering your fuel air mixture screw on each carb, and also a new pilot jet, bigger pilot jet. The drilling out will obviously be more, it'll be easier for you to understand once that video goes live and you can go check it out. But the purpose that I've done a stage 3 is because I've got Cobra drags with no baffles, only lollipop baffles, and I've got pod filters going on. So I'm getting rid of the air boxes, because that in itself will open up so much real estate within the bike for me to hide wiring and just make it look a lot more presentable, and I wouldn't have to worry about the thing catching on fire from wires being bird nested together. So yeah, if you guys have got any questions about jetting the carbs, as in why, benefits, pros, cons, leave a comment, let me know. It's not something for the faint-hearted. If you've never done it before, I would recommend that if you can get hold of a set of really old battered carburetors, that you do it on those first as a test to make sure you don't mess it up. It is not a plug and play scenario. So I'm going to put these carbs back in, probably tonight. I'll probably shoot the video, and then I'll have to try and tune them. I won't bother syncing them yet, because there's a very high chance that I'll have to take them out again before the bike is running correctly. So there's no point in me syncing them to the point where they're perfect. I can get them pretty good without needing to hook them up to a to the gauge, but I need to be able to take it down the road and put full throttle through it and not have any bog down, not have any struggle, not have any lean performance. It needs to be rich, because if it's rich, I can dial that back with the fuel mixture screw. What you can't do really once you're too lean, as in too much air with the pod filters, it's very hard to control that if you're not getting enough fuel. So that's why they then supply you with an even bigger set of jets on top of the ones that you actually order, because sometimes you need just that little bit extra to be able to get it to run correctly. So that's what's going to happen. The it's been filmed, it's being produced. I will try to get it up on Wednesday, go back to our Wednesday upload. Probably be up about 11 a.m. Central US time. So hopefully you guys will be able to gain some knowledge there. I've also got this little beauty, slightly off topic, and this is thanks to Jamie Azazel. He was talking to a couple of people on the Facebook forums about this, and I went on to, where did I go to? I think it was wish.com or AliExpress, and I was genuinely looking for the cheapest option. I was trying to get the cheapest deal that I could on this part. Something that keeps coming up on the forums is people putting the key in the ignition, turning the key so that it's on, and then they hear a repeated clicking sound, like a really quick, and it's typically the fuel pump or a relay, fuel pump relay. Replacing the fuel pump is not a difficult process, but getting a fuel pump that is stock OEM is actually quite expensive. I think the cheapest brand new one I found was about £125 here in the UK, which is an absurd amount of money to be paying for something that definitely doesn't cost anywhere near that to manufacture. So this conversation was going on one of the forums, and Jamie recommended this brand, which I believe he's running in his bike at the moment. It is, I can't pronounce that, but it's this fuel pump, and it is designed for the VS1400 specifically. One thing that you'll see straight off the bat is this thing here. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to do anything with it. It's a breather valve. It's a breather for the fuel pump. You don't have to worry about it. It's got the correct connection on the top, the correct adapter, and it's marked as well on the bottom, in for your fuel in, and then obviously the opposite side would be your fuel out. But it's actually very well made, and I'm doing a video on this as well at the moment. I'm going to install this as well, and I'm going to run it. Not that I need to, touch wood, but I want to see whether or not this is a product worth you guys keeping an eye on if you ever need a new fuel pump. But I can only do that if I've done it myself. So I went out and I bought this one. I think it was about £22, something like that. So really inexpensive in comparison to the stock OEM one. And I'm intrigued. I want to see how it performs. Rob, I know, bought one. I think he had problems with his one though. I don't think it worked the way it should have done when he installed it. So I'll give him a call later and see whether or not that was the case, because obviously this is cheap, and it might be one of those hit or miss products. So before I tell you to go and buy it, I'm going to test it and make sure that it works. So that's something to look forward to as well. I filmed the intro for that video earlier today as well. And then obviously we've got pod filters. You've seen me talk about the pod filters before. They're not K&N, they're DNA pod filters. They are exactly the same shape as the K&N pod filters, same size, etc. They allegedly have a higher airflow rating than the K&Ns. So, and they were a little bit cheaper by about £5-6 each. They weren't cheap, you know, they're talking £45 a filter. You know, so we're on quite a high level of upgrade here with the carb jet kit, the filters. What else have we got? There's another part of that scenario as well. Don't know. It's gone. It's gone. Anyway, so let's see if anyone's asked any questions about the carb jets or anything like that. Willow, reason my bike has such a big lope. Oh, I see. Yeah. But so yeah. Oh, right. Well, let's have a quick look here and see if there's anything else we need to cover tonight before I clock out. It might be a quick one tonight, folks, because I kind of want to get stuck in with the bike, get it back together, because I need to know whether or not I can go to bike night on Tuesday. So, and I'm sure you guys are ready and waiting to see a video as to whether or not it runs. That video is on its way, but I can't do that video while the carbs are on the bench. Sync video as well. Like I said before, that is coming, and don't worry, I will be showing you how to make your own sync gauge, your own carb sync, so you don't have to go out and spend £100 on a carb sync tool. I will be showing you how I would do it if I didn't have a carb sync tool. Fortunately, the carb sync tool that I do have is my father-in-law's, and he very, very kindly about 3 months ago let me borrow it. Haven't used it yet. So we're going to do a comparison. We're going to do which one should we use. Should we do professional tools, or is it good enough just to use a DIY carb sync tool that we can make out of pretty much anything, a couple of bottles and some liquid here in the workshop? Is it worth it? One thing that I did get that I would recommend, that if you're going to start messing with your carbs and it's going to become part of your sort of life with your bike, taking your carbs in and out and having to sync them, is get yourself a set of brass carb sync adapters for the carbs. I've got them somewhere. Effectively, what you're going to need to do is on the side of the carb, let's see this one here. So this is the rear carb. On the side of it here, see this screw? That screw has to come out when we're syncing, and then an adapter goes in there, and then a pipe goes on the end of it, which goes then to your sync tool. These are really difficult to get to, and often on the carb sync tools, the professional ones, they only provide you with plastic adapters, and they're horrendous to work with. So if it's worth $10-12 to you, I would recommend you go to Amazon, eBay, wherever, and get yourself a set of brass carb sync adapters. Just make sure the thread size is correct, obviously, for your carb. I believe the rear carb is an M5, and I believe the front carb is an M6, but don't quote me on that. I think that's what they are. So so definitely worth getting a hold of them. So much easier to work with than the plastic ones. Dave Deb said it was too interesting to think of any questions. Sorry, man. Bootman says, how to find out what cam and jets are installed? Take it apart? Yes. That's the only way to find out what's inside your carbs and what's inside your heads of your motorcycle is to look, unfortunately. Devin says, are the power gains worth having the need to constantly fiddle with the carbs worth the effort? Okay, so this is something that is debated all the time across all forums of all motorcycles, in particular those like the big old V-twins like this. I've never done it before on this bike, so I don't know in particular about this bike whether it's going to be worth it. That's why I wouldn't recommend you rush to go and get yourself a jet kit if you've never done it before and you don't know what you're getting yourself into, because it might get to the point where I'm having to fiddle with it so much, tune it, fuel air mixture, to the point where I'm just, let's go and get ourselves a couple of new diaphragm slides and just put it back to factory stock. I've heard the benefit of jetting will increase the low end quite a bit, and I've heard that it will increase the top end slightly. Not that that's why I'm doing it. If I'm being honest, the reason I'm doing it is for you guys. I live in a place that's really not surrounded by big, long, straight roads, so I probably won't ever feel the benefit to the maximum like a lot of you guys in the States, or even in Germany with the Nuremberg, and in Canada. You guys will be able to feel the benefits a lot more than I ever will. But the process of doing it up until this video goes live for this bike has been a mystery, and everyone's always been a little bit confused about it. Guys who want to do it or think they want to do it ask questions on the Facebook forums and on other forums, and people always respond who have done it. People post pictures or long comments on how to do things, but there's no visual reference for the process, and that's why I'm doing it, is to put that piece of content there for you guys to refer back to for those of you that want to do it. Like I said, at this moment in time, does it benefit the bike performance wise? I don't know. Ask me that question again in a week and hopefully I'll have a different answer for you. But historically speaking, yes. If you increase the amount of fuel that's going into the cylinders at the rate of what the engine provides, the carbs provide, you should feel an increase in power. That's just standard kind of across the board. Ultimately, what holds this bike back is its gearing, and a lot of people claim that they can do 125, 130 mile per hour. I'm not saying you're lying, but the issue there is that out of the factory, this bike, it's not possible to do 130 miles per hour on it because the gearing doesn't allow for it. Now that's obviously going to be dependent on specific models. It's going to be dependent on specific things like, has it been jetted? Has it got, what kind of exhaust pipes has it got? Are they baffled? Are they not baffled? There's loads of things that are kind of going to make that statement either believable or not. If it's come straight out of the showroom, a brand new VS1400 1997 model, 5 gears, there is no way that it would reach 130 mile an hour on a flat level without some sort of external help, whether that be 100 mile per hour wind behind it or going downhill. You know, so we'll see. I'm going to have fun doing it, I hope. So, we'll, like I said, Devin, ask me again in a week and hopefully I'll have a good answer for you. Bootman says, and I just put it together after total cleanup, had to file clutch housing. Oh no, man. Never mind. Dizco says, thanks Hagar, you've got me thinking about the aftermarket type fuel pump I fitted. Not run it up yet and not sure about reliability, but I just can't bring myself to shell out for an OEM pump yet. I know. Again, that's why I make these videos is if there's a product that is claiming to do something well enough to be put in our bikes for a lot cheaper than what the OEM stuff is, then it's kind of my duty now to take it, buy it, fit it and report back. And that's what I will do with that fuel pump. Devin, I'm pretty lucky with my Valkyrie. It's got a supercharger that replaces the 6 carbs with one big one. Makes it pretty simple. I'm wondering if I want to start messing with the carbs on the Intruder. Really wouldn't want to ride this bike that fast. It would be terrifying. This chassis and suspension. Yep. I'm not going to say how fast I've gone on it. I've never pushed it to its max, especially in winter, in particular here in the UK, which is constantly salty, gritty roads. It's really not worth it. But it gets scary after a certain point, not because of the speed, because of the noises, because of the rattles, because of the vibrations. It's not designed to do 130 mile an hour. It's a cruiser. It's a 1980s, 1990s vintage cruiser motorcycle. It was never designed to be able to take out, Suzuki Bandit 1200 engines. That's not what it was designed for. But one of the caveats to what they did do was they effectively made it the Harley killer, and it could smoke pretty much every Harley of the same age off the line. Hence why it was known as the Harley killer. So yeah, it's interesting. Willow's not into speed and so won't be trying to go fast. No, there's no need to. There's no need to go fast. If you're going fast, you're not looking around you. You're not enjoying the ride. You're too focused on the road and trying not to die. So no, I like to cruise at 70, 75 mile an hour where I can. It's good speed for the bike. The bike can handle it. It will hold it steady for a little while. I always drop off as and when I can, sort of down to 60. Like I've said before, you shouldn't hold this engine in 5th gear at that high RPM for too long a period of time, because the heat that it generates, especially now with what's going to be a calibrated but still rich mixture compared to what the engine is designed to accept. Got to be really careful about over revving RPM and how long you're holding that engine for at that level of RPM, because you could well cause some problems, and we don't want that. Devin says, don't admit anything on tape, smart man. Always. Never. Devin, riding cruisers fast is amazing though. Yeah, each to their own, right? That's all I'm going to say on the matter. Maybe we'll go, once the motovlogs start up and I take you guys over here in the UK, a beautiful place for you guys to Google, which is about half an hour down the road from me. I'm very, very fortunate to live so close to this place, and I don't take advantage. I'm one of those people that, because I've lived here my entire life, I forget how lucky I am to be here. Look up a place called Dartmoor, all one word, Dartmoor, and drop Google the little yellow Google man into some roads. Look up Haytor, Haytor, Haytor Dartmoor, and drop the little yellow man down into Dartmoor and just go for a virtual ride on the roads in Dartmoor. And that's where we will be going on a moto vlog, hopefully very, very soon. It's glorious up there. It's like walking into the set of Lord of the Rings, and it's on my doorstep. So we will hopefully get over to Dartmoor very, very soon. How's it going, Franz? He says, hey mate, have a question. I just installed K&N filter mats on my VS1400, so still the OEM airboxes. Do you think that only the mats can increase the airflow so much that the bike runs lean? Yes, absolutely. You probably are going to want to mess around a little bit with your fuel air mixture screw, and hopefully you'll get away with it. Hopefully you won't have to rejet. But there is such a thing as a stage 1 jet kit, and that is designed for those types of air filters. So you might have to max out those fuel air mixtures those fuel air mixture screws in order to get it to run at a level that you would consider to be okay. But you will probably want to jet the carbs to a stage 1 jet kit. Yeah, but you will definitely run lean on those flat ones. I know the ones they're like a grill, aren't they? The material sort of wrapped around. Yeah, K&M ones definitely will make a difference. Willow says, have a saying I want to put on my bike. Your bike sucks, mine blows. Go for it, man. Send me a picture once you've done it. Bootman says, low rev sounds best. Torque is amazing on these. It really is. Drive shaft. You know, throttle response is very, very strong on these bikes. And if you have bad throttle response, again, that's something to maybe look at your carbs for in the slider spring. Something there that you can make it a little bit sharper. But I'll leave that for the video. So yeah, right guys. Well, look, if there's no other questions, I don't know really what else to talk about tonight, and I don't want to string you all along. But the good news is the video is filmed. I'm going to start producing it, and it will hopefully be live Wednesday night for you all to see. And obviously the reinstall of the carbs I'm going to also hopefully film tonight. It's only 8:30. I should be able to do that in about an hour. Film that and put that together for you, because I did promise you 9 months ago that I would do a reinstall video, and that back then it was only a couple of weeks away. How wrong was I? But that video I will do for you, and then with that video, the carb install video, I will do the we'll do the pod filters on that video as well, I think. That's a very simple process. There's already a how to remove the airboxes video on the channel, so I don't really need to cover that again. If you're thinking of doing pod filters, guys, there is plenty of footage for you to check out on the channel. Scroll back on the channel to some of the older videos, and we'll just get straight to the point in these newer videos. That's kind of the great thing about the channel. The way that we've worked it is that if I need to reference stuff for you guys, I can point you to those videos that I did 9 months ago. And then the new videos, we can just get straight to it. If I'm going to show you how to install pod filters, I'm going to show you how to install the pod filters, not how to remove the existing airboxes. I think that's kind of going to make everybody a bit happier. We don't need 2 videos of everything. So yes, Willow says, good luck on the ride. Be safe all. Rubber side down. Always rubber side down, folks. If anyone's got any last minute questions, feel free to fire them out there. If anyone wants to, if you guys are talking to each other, crack on. If you're not on Facebook, guys, or if you've not got Hagar added on Facebook, look up Hagar Moto. There's 2 different pages. There's one where you need to add me as a friend, and there's one that's just a page. You can either like the page, add me as a friend, or do both. It really doesn't make a difference. One of them I update on a pretty regular basis, which is the one where you add me as a friend. That's my profile. And then the page itself is kind of where I put up updates on the videos and the websites and stuff. So feel free to add me on those. If you need written content to go along with these videos, make sure you check out hagarmoto.com. That is where you'll find transcripts for about 70% of the videos that are on the channel. You'll find transcripts and like tool settings, torque settings, etc., on that website, on my website. So feel free to check that out as well. You can view it on your phone or on your computer. And I think for now, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you during the week, Wednesday. Stay in touch, and I'll see you soon. All right? Take care of yourself, guys. All the best.